So I'm here with Cesar Rodriguez, and he's the author of the Gaussian Splatting Swiss Army knife in terms of color grading and editing Gaussian splats, and it's called Photoshock, and Cesar will tell you all about it himself.
Yeah, I'm present to have the first tip editor and professional editor for Gaussian Splats. This is focused on production, real life use cases scenarios. Basically, I think if I show my tools, they will talk by themselves. So basically, here we have a brush tool that you can pick a color, you can define a size, a hardness, an intensity, a blending mode, and a brush spacing, and then start painting live over your Gaussian splat models. And the cool thing about how we are approaching this tool is that our tools doesn't go in projection. They don't paint. No, we have our selection tools section here, and in the selection tools we have the frame selection tool. And you just perform this 2D frame and select splats. You can add more selected splats by switching to the add to selection. And we also have a subtract mode. Then we have the lasso. We have a polygon selection tool that is also very precise. Let's say I want to select this logo here. Then the next selection tool we have, and the last one, is the histogram selection tool. For this one, you have all the channels, the color channels, including the lumen channel, which is the luminosity channel. And how this works is that you define a certain range on the color spectrum, and it will select the splats that are inside of that range. And let's say I need to work I want to paint all this white guard area, but I don't want to get, painted the other sides. What I can do is switch to the lasso tool, for example, and start to quickly deselect the parts I don't want to get affected. So let's say I want to paint this car to black, right? Which can be a good example, because when you try, it's not, a secret that when you try to scan a black car, the thing is mostly not getting a good result. So by painting this white car to black, you can get a good result, because you already have this white area selected, and then you can switch to the color grading tool that we have here. I'm going to hide the selection highlight, and I'm going to start to work the color correction until I get something that is the black color I want. Here's, I will say that something like this works good, but now I can choose to turn on the grid selection only, which is going to apply that color correction only to the area I had selected, which is the whites. And I see that I have some white splats here still, so I can just move to my lasso selection tool and just keep adding those splats that were not selected with the histogram selection tool. I'm going to remove this here, and this part is too gray, so I can keep playing with this until I'm happy. I can play with the mix on it. I can play with my exposure, contrast, black and white point, saturation, temperature and tint for color correction. I can add colors using the split tones to the shadows. I can add also colors to the midtones and the highlights. And I have control over all the color channels here. I can change the hue, I can change the luminosity and the saturation. And another cool feature we have is the 3D shape generator. And this is basically this works in a way you just pick up or upload your a custom shape, you drag in the canvas, you create this wireframe, you adjust it until it is how you need it. You can also use the ISMA, for example. And I use this to complete and make, you know, a sharp edge on my wheels, because, you know, when you try to delete this kind of splats, and I'm going to do it right now. You're going to get a hole on the wheel, right?
Mm-hmm.
To do this real quick. So the idea of this tool is that as you get something like this, you can fill up the gaps. Because if you create a new Gaussian splat shape here, right? I'm going to do it quickly and roughly. You pick a color that is matching the surrounding area. I need to fix the... Yeah, once you are done with this process of placing the wireframe, what you can do is define the density, which means the amount of splats you're going to create, and the size of those splats. Define the color and just hit splat it. And it will take a couple of seconds. It's going to create a new splat model in a new layer on demand. And now what you can do is just get the eraser tool, decrease the depth so you don't erase the other face of the cylinder, for example. Change the size and start to just leave the part of this cylinder that you need to make the wheel seem sharp with a sharp edge.